What's going on, everybody? It's Falchion with you once again, and once again, we're here for another Borderless Gaming GSA. This is episode 51, and today I'm alone. um, Evil was sleeping. It's late where he is. It's always late where he is. So yeah, and I don't know what happened to Geek. I just didn't hear from him. So uh, just us today. So I guess we're just gonna jump into this. First, let's do today in J Law's gaming history. What's going on, Shadow? Glad you can make it. Uh, might not be as fun today as normal. It's just me. Um, but yeah, glad you could make it, bro. Thank you for hanging out. What's going on, Plank? Glad you can make it as well. You're gonna have to tell me about that retro game price conspiracy thing. I saw that. I actually have it up on the channel, but yeah. Keisha, glad you could make it. Thank you for hanging out, and happy Sunday to you as well. Uh, got something for you. I've got something specially for you. Um, but yeah, today in gaming, in J Law's gaming history, 21 years ago, the Game Boy Color got X-Men Wolverine's Rage. The reason this one kind of stood out to me this week is that PlayStation has a Wolverine game coming out, right? Pretty soon. And so um, it's kind of funny to see how these games transition from one company to another throughout the years. Uh, Things that are exclusive seem exclusive aren't always that exclusive, and I know this isn't really the same thing, but you get the sentiment there. Send you an invite. Okay, I can do that. Nope, that's wrong. Copy that. Give me a second here, guys, while we get Plank in. Thanks for agreeing to come and hang out. It's going to be the invite will be in announcements in your channel. Yeah, it should be there now. So how's everything going, guys? Sorry, let me catch up here. How's everything going? You guys been into this week? I have been trying to figure out the Steam Deck. It's a complicated little PC for me. Because I'm not a PC guy. For other people, it's probably really easy, but for me, I'm just not very computer savvy. So, been trying to work that whole thing out. What's going on, Plank?
Hello.
Been a long time. Wow,
Yeah, man. It's been a minute.
when did your hair go all curly?
Yeah, I've been working on it. I'm kind of a hot mess right now. I was looking for a comb before I came in here, but now you're getting me. Hello, everybody out there in chat land.
Glad you can make it for sure.
Thank you. Anytime I can be of assistance, my friend. Can't have you in here, struggling on your own.
Right. So I guess let's just jump into it.
Sure.
You put up this story about retro gaming goes a court over price manipulation.
Yeah, so this is an old story that we've brought up before. It has to do with the company WADA, which is a gaming grading company for anybody that's done any art, comic books, things like that, coin collecting. Hey, Keisha, you send in these things to be graded by professional based off of how they look, and grading comes with the way they look, what condition they're in, and the rarity and stuff like that. So You can get them professionally graded and sealed, so that if you wanted to sell them, you know that they've been authenticated, and based off that grading, you can get a kind of a roundabout price as to what the value is of your product. Well, WADA created the market for grading video games, and especially in the retro market.
All right,
You
Shadow.
know, especially in the retro market, a lot of games started showing up. People want nostalgia, people with collections that are sitting there with the boxes and everything. One of the more famous guys on YouTube, his name is the Angry Video Game Nerd. I was just watching some videos earlier. He's got a ton of old video games with boxes and the books and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he could send them in and get them graded. And what happened was the head of WADA was kind of manipulating the market.
Right.
He got famous because he showed up on Pawn Stars. A couple of people brought in like Super Mario 1. A guy worked at Kmart, got a hold of a copy of Super Mario 1, still in the cellophane, never been opened, perfect condition, sent it in, had it graded, and got a perfect score on this grading. And I think the value of it was around 300,000. It was something ridiculous for Super Mario Brothers. You know, a game that came with the Nintendo.
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean?
right.
But it turns out that the company that was involved was grading their own stuff and giving their own stuff higher. The argument is they were manipulating the prices by supposedly giving their own stuff higher value and selling on the back end on eBay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And what happened, how it all came to be, was that some guy on YouTube sent out some games to get graded.
Mm-hmm.
And when the grading came back, when his games came back and the grading came back, there was a post-it note inside the packaging about contacting them on some of their personal collections.
I think I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, so the guy is double dipping, he's so how you have the guy that's grading it is also selling his product.
Right.
It's kind of shady. So yeah, they've taken it to court. I imagine if this does happen, it's going to hurt the gaming resale market, or at least in the collector end for people that are collecting, and anything that was graded by WADA is going to be called into question. So
that's what I was going to ask: are all those things going to have to be regraded by somebody?
So that's a great question. Like in the comic book world, there's two major graders in the comic book world, and that would be CGC and I think it's CBC, or CBCS or something like that. And usually CGC is the more recognized name.
Right.
The other one is recognized, but you don't see people grading as much with the other one than they do the CGC. It's almost like your credit score, where you have Equifax, TransUnion, and there's a third one. I can't remember the other one. But everybody worries about Equifax. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So that's kind of the thing. Now, if CGC, who is well known for grading, has graded all these products and whatnot, comes out and says like there was underhanded shadiness going on in question, like you got to look at everything they graded. You know what I mean?
Right.
And question it. fortunate enough, CGC is big enough, and we cross our fingers, it's big enough that they don't have those types of problems. But I think in this situation where WADA, it's a new concept, or not really a new concept, but a new market. And I think, hands in the cookie jar kind of situation. He could have built the guy in question could have built quite a legacy had he not been greedy.
Right.
And that's where things come into play. Now, I know that CGC is getting into gaming grading. So there you have a reputable company that is going to be getting into it. I don't know if they've started taking games in yet. But I think Sotheby's, who is a big auctioneer company, is talking about it too. Because Sotheby's even deals with CGC. Like, they recognize CGC gradings. I mean, when you have these real estate auction, or not real estate auction, when you have these, what are they called? When somebody passes and their property goes off. I forget what it's called. Yeah, the estate sales. There you go. When you have these estate sales, like the really big estate sales, and people are sitting on these things, Sotheby's contacts CGC to find out what's going on. So Sotheby's to be involved could be a big thing. And I know that other companies like eBay has their own validation wing right now, especially like because it came in big with shoes like Nikes. They have their own validation services where you can't be selling shady stuff, what I mean, and claiming it. So, will the market die? I don't think so. But again, you're definitely gonna have to question everything that WADA put out, and I don't know how that would work out for people that have, that'd be quite a class action lawsuit if you're talking about people that are trying to they have product that they haven't sold, and now they're losing the value on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or anybody that's sitting on anything, and I don't know how that works. Unless even then, because if you're getting something like that, like a game that's $300,000, something big, you've insured it.
Right.
And that's another ball of wax. Like, people that are sitting on these have probably got them insured, and now you've called the value of the product in question, which could lead to insurance fraud. You know what I mean? Like, it opens up a whole lot of stuff.
So is this a class action suit, or
just
kind of like a 101 type of thing?
I believe from what I read that it was a class action suit. Let me double check that.
Because if it's a class action suit, then I imagine all these people are going to want to get their games regraded, and then who pays for that, right?
Yeah, so it is a class action lawsuit, and I mean, I don't know who they could send it to get things regraded. And it's not just the grading though. It's the grading and the value.
Right.
You could still be sitting on a 9.6 or whatever Super Mario Brothers, but like, the question is it really worth that kind of value?
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, like, we're talking about games that sold for a lot of money. And here we have a mint conditions Mario 64 sold in 2021 in October for $240,000.
Wow.
If you're buying that, you've insured it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And does that invalidate the insurance policy on it? You know what I'm saying? So like it creates this whole explosion of problems. And then you send it back in to get it valued, and then what's to say it's actually not a mint condition copy?
Mm-hmm.
What if something happens to it between here and there?
Right.
What happens when they break the seal on the case? Because they slab them. What happens? They break the seal and slab, and something goes wrong. Like I have, it's interesting story. I have a Wolverine number 76 variant copy that's signed by George Perez. All right, and it was graded and slabbed, but the slab broke on it. This is the only reason why I have it, because I got it for dirt cheap because the slab broke on it. It looks like somebody like crushed it.
Oh wow.
And because of that, it basically invalidates the grading. Not only does it invalidate the grading, it invalidated the signature. Even though it is on record with CGC as this comic book being graded and signed by George Perez, who is now dead.
Wow.
Who just died last week.
Oh my goodness.
But because it is no longer in its slab, it can't be validated.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so you've created, like, again, in this situation, you created a snowball of problems, especially if somebody's sitting on more than one of these, which I imagine somebody's out there with a collection that's been graded, a large collection that's been graded. In COVID era, a lot of stuff went for stupid money.
Right.
When people are stuck in the house and stuff like that, like Magic the Gathering cards and Pokemon cards and all that stuff, all that nostalgia stuff, people were collecting like crazy. So, there's a lot of money wrapped up in all this.
Yeah.
They said they had on record a Super Mario Brothers that was sealed, that was selling for $2 million.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
wow.
Could you imagine the person that bought it for $2 million and then realized the grading is invalidated?
Wow. That's crazy. Somebody's about to lose a lot of money. Man.
I mean, could you imagine though? I mean,
that's crazy. That is insane.
It's like, and I'm talking gradings and stuff like that for people that may or may not know or anything like that. Like, it's like buying a classic muscle car and realizing that all the panels on it were made in China. You know what I mean? Like, they're just fabricated and made in China. Yeah. Yeah, you have the car, but, you don't know if all the parts are correct.
Right.
It's just, it's pretty bad.
That is pretty bad.
So, I imagine there's going to be a lot going on. They're talking about racketeering cases and stuff like that against WADA. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because of how they manipulated the prices on these products. And some of the stuff that they graded very highly was their own collection.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right at all.
Yeah. So, there you are. And that was let's see, they put in a couple of auction houses too. It was like Heritage Auctions and Golden Auctions. They had a Super Mario 64 go for $800,000. They had one go for $1.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah, for a game that you've beaten, Ray.
Yeah, for sure.
That you've had. I played it.
Right. But man, yeah, somebody's in a lot of trouble. Oh, wow, that's just insane.
Yeah, man. So, And time could tell. I could only imagine games that we don't even know about that are sitting out there that
Right.
were graded that are probably worth way more.
Mm.
You know, because we look at some games like some of the Neo Geo games in the worst condition. In the worst
Yeah.
condition are $2,500,
Yeah. Yeah.
$5,000 in the worst condition. What if somebody's sitting on a mint one of those things sitting out there
Right.
when it's been graded by WADA?
Oh, man, that's horrible.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So in other news, something that I saw that you reacted to, in the topics was that PS4 and Xbox One, the last gen consoles, lose Gotham Knights, that game that's coming out soon.
Right.
As these companies are starting to switch over to only producing games for the current gen consoles. I mean, where do you stand on that? I mean, I saw your reaction was whoa in the
I
chat or
mean,
whatever.
to me, it looks like they're. To me, it looks like this is the start of them phasing out the old gens. I mean, it's almost like PC. It's almost like the PC age where developers create. I mean, we're talking about hardware. Developers would create games and they would phase out entire series of cards or chipsets. You know, you had to upgrade your equipment in order to run this game.
Right.
You know, and the line between the line between PC and console gaming is getting thinner and thinner and thinner the way that they're rolling these out, especially when you talk about last week that they're rolling out a stick that's gonna, you know what I mean? You don't even need to own an Xbox now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, and even I think there's even, I mean, like there's the cloud services and stuff like that. Like you don't need
Hmm.
to own the console in order to play these games.
Right.
So why would I create a game to work on the Apple IIe when you know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody's driving, everybody's playing on these consoles, you know, it's just
Right.
more work, you know? And me personally, I'm a big fan of Gotham. I mean, I'm a big fan of Batman, and I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to Gotham Knights and everything. But I thinking about it. I have a PS4. I'm not playing a game on PS4. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
I got an Xbox over there, and I got my PC. I'll happily play on one or the other. You know, Why would I play on a PS4? I mean, like, I know people are gonna hate me for this, especially J Law. But I mean, like, you've heard my argument about PS4 software. I hate their software. It's
Mhm.
just such a mess.
Right.
And so, like, I'd rather play it in a more comfortable spot in a more comfortable, setup. So, I mean, and I talk about PS4, but we're also talking about the Xbox as well.
Mhm.
You know, if it can't keep up with the game, then it is what it is. You
Like, I
know.
know a lot of people are upset thinking that this is too soon, and I know that you kinda need to take what happened with COVID and everything into account as well, but this is the time period where Microsoft or Xbox said at the beginning of this generation that uh, they were gonna stopping making games for the last generation.
Yeah.
We're coming up on that 2 years, right? So, um, and they said 1.5 to 2 years, so, um, I think, though, a lot of people were surprised that it's starting, with this game because I think, the game is coming out actually really soon, um, four-person co-op if, anybody's interested in that game.
I mean, like, I understand money and stuff like that. I understand it's tough times for everybody and things like that. But on a company and gaming and like, you can only keep producing games for old consoles for so long,
Yeah.
because people are just not going to be interested in it anymore. So, it is what it is. You got to step up. Even Minecraft is stepped up. They're talking about ray tracing on Minecraft.
That's
You hear
pretty.
that? My
There's a
son
rooster
screaming.
in your living room.
I got a little rooster standing. Hey, Julian! I'm streaming. I'm online. I understand. I'll discuss that later. I'm on stream. No. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's just a, the times. It's time. You know what I mean? Like when we have the Nintendo Switch. They're not still making NES games. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it is what it is.
I mean,
and then especially with them, I mean, like I said, the blur between PC and console games is getting closer and closer. And with Microsoft coming out talking about a stick, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost going to become a point where it's like, obviously they're going for a subscription model. Clearly they're going for a subscription model. But how are they going to do this subscription model when you're talking about the stick and all that stuff? So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I guess on the PlayStation side, this whole thing must hit a little bit harder, as it is almost impossible still to get a PS5 or what have you, and now it's pretty. I wouldn't say easy, but you can find an Xbox Series X now, even with relative ease. I was looking through Best Buy and saw them all over the place. So, but yeah, I hate to admit it. I hate to see any gamer left behind, to be honest with you, but it is pretty much time to start showing off the capabilities of these consoles. Stop mixing in last gen consoles as well. And as much as I do hate to say that, it is the truth.
I mean, it was going to happen, you know. Apparently this is the game that draws the line,
right?
You know, I mean, we look, and as an example, let's look at two games that are on two different gen consoles. All right, Cyberpunk and Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And they run completely different on the two different setups, and people complained nonstop about the last gen consoles and the way that it played. You want to deal with that hassle anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why would you want to deal with that?
And I know there were a lot of people that were having some issues on the current gen consoles with Cyberpunk, but if it hadn't been for the last gen consoles, I think that game would have fared through that whole mess far easier than it did. The last gen consoles really did hurt that whole narrative. So I can see why publishers and developers are looking to go ahead and just start focusing on the current gen consoles and put the old stuff behind them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to Gotham Knights. I'm looking forward to some 4-player co-op. So, you know.
Yeah. So in other news, you have a Xbox Series S, right?
Yes.
So you hear about them possibly making an external disk drive. Oh, Geek decided to show. What's going on,
Hey,
Geek?
what's up, Geek?
Hey, fellas. I couldn't miss being on with this guy looking like Jesse Smollett.
Oh, really? I look like Jesse Smollett. So, a disk drive on an Xbox, it's kind of pointless.
Okay, explain.
For what? I mean, like for what? What do you?
Well, okay, for what? Let's mix the two. Let's mix two stories then. Also, so there was last weekend there was an outage for the Xbox servers, and because of that outage and their DRM stance or what have you, a bunch of people couldn't play any of their games. Now that didn't hit everybody. For me, for instance, it didn't touch me whatsoever. and a lot of other people it touched in different ways to where they could still buy. Some people could still buy games, but then couldn't play those games. Some people could buy games, couldn't play their new games, but could still play their old games. And so it was all this big mix up. And to be honest with you, some people said they couldn't play their disc games, but I didn't hear too much about that. So, but if let's say you had a disc drive for the Series S, and I guess, and also going back to the other story, your story, and not completely, but if you like collecting disc, see, this is where I think it's pretty good, right? It's if you jumped in with the Series S, right, and got your feet wet and decided that you liked it and decided that you wanted to start playing. Well, man, I don't know. I just talked myself out of the whole thing. Maybe you're right.
Okay.
Maybe it's unnecessary.
Wait. Hear me out, because you said a lot, and I'll expand on my point here. Okay, so maybe you're a collector, yeah, and
but
you want to collect the games. You want to collect the games for posterity's sake, and then maybe you want to, for some freakishly weird reason, live out your nostalgia and buy an old copy of it so that you can play it in the future, right? Now, the Nintendo Switch is a prime example of why that will never work. Because when you put the game in the Switch, the first thing you got to do is what? Download an update before you even play the freaking game. Yep. So if I buy a Xbox with a disc drive in 20 years and I have the disc for a game, there's zero guarantee that I could still play that game. And that's where my argument comes into why would I ever need to own the disc? Other than the resale value, which even then, I'm sure they're figuring out a way that you couldn't sell these games and repackage them and kick them back out. You're still going to have to pay full retail. Look at the Nintendo Switch over at GameStop. You know, you're the days of us as kids passing a game from one person to the next person is kind of done. You know what I mean? We ain't trading games at recess anymore.
That's true.
You know, and especially with the price tags on these games.
Right.
But the number one thing that you're doing, and that's with all games these days, the number one thing that you do when you first get it is update it. And when you pull the game out in the disc, you put it in, you can't play it. Even if you had the disc, if there was an outage and I went to Target and I was like, let me play a game because at least I don't have the internet, I can still play a game locally. I can't because I got to update the console. I mean, I got to update the game or the console in order to play the game.
Right. So Keisha asked, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying it just kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Keisha says she doesn't have a membership on Xbox. Can she still see her old games on the Xbox?
Yes.
Nothing is, I mean, that
provided there's no outage.
Right. Right.
Now here's the question though. I mean, because you guys are the pros on this. Can you still see your old games? Yes, but can you play them if you hadn't already downloaded them? If they're not
not on that weekend, you couldn't.
Yeah, if they're not stored locally on that device, you ain't playing it.
So if you don't have the disc,
even if you had the disc.
No. If you don't have the disc, you can't play them.
Okay.
So, but, and I'm thinking that she's asking like if she could see her old games, like so that when you turn on your Xbox, you can go to a list of your games and you see all the games that you've ever owned on the Xbox. At least from the 360 days. I actually do see some games that I have owned even from the original Xbox, but not too many of them. So yeah, you can see those, and you can even, if you have digital rights to them, you can play them. Some of them though, or a lot of them, you still have to put in the physical disc at least one time before you can play them in that digital manner. So yeah, but that's not locked behind any kind of a paywall to be able to at least see your games. That list is there. just like a list of your achievements type of thing. Oh, what you got here, Point?
Me counting rocks on Eve. I was
Oh.
just showing. I was just showing Geek.
Oh yeah, Geek.
Because I know he was talking about it.
Geek did ask about that. Yeah, Geek.
Yeah. But
that's some craziness right there.
But no, I just.
Keisha says she doesn't see any games in her library. Did you ever change your gamer tag? Because that actually might be why I don't see all my oldest games, because at one point I had to change my gamer tag. That may have something to do with it, but if you don't see any games at all, that is strange, and so I don't know why you wouldn't see those. She says she has digital games, and no, she's never changed her gamer tag. You have an answer for that, Geek?
That's for you guys. Y'all are the pros.
Okay. So, wow. The short answer is sometimes you have to, sometimes there are glitches, just like that weekend outage. If you can't get to your licenses, you won't see those games. And you have to call Microsoft and have them refresh your licenses. Now, I don't know, because due to this whole shortage, no, it was an outage. The fix for it was Xbox is allegedly supposed to be allowing you to now, well, it hasn't, because they haven't laid out where to get it, but you're supposed to be able to download all of your licenses onto like a thumb drive or whatever, and you're supposed to be able to have a local copy of those licenses, so that you won't ever have this issue again. But that's what they said, but I can't find where it was done yet.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to take a moment to implement that. But yeah, Keisha, in the overall, you should be able to see your games, and maybe if you haven't logged into Microsoft in a long time, that could be the issue as well, because you do that, and that's the main problem with what happened with this outage. All of a sudden, consoles weren't able to shake hands with the servers, and so it was like you didn't have your game. So
Right, because I was affected by it.
were you?
Yeah. And I didn't realize, I kind of knew, but I didn't think about, like, even my Tetris Effect connected, we were disconnected. So that game wouldn't work.
Which is a great game, by the way. Thinking about Tetris Effect.
It is. That has become my solo cooldown.
Yeah.
If I'm playing Destiny or any game that I want to get sweaty at, and then once I'm finished, if I'm going to go to bed, I want to play something that brings that anxiety level down. And Tetris is that game for me.
Wow. That's cool.
I do the USA Today crossword puzzles. But no, I mean, like, Falchion, you own a Series X Xbox, right?
Yeah. SNX.
Yeah. So have you used the disk drive at all?
No.
Yeah.
And I just haven't gotten around to it. I still have to unpack my games, but I do want to try loading up some of my old games into it, from generations past. But I haven't even done that yet. So, you're right. I guess it really doesn't need it. I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, but Xbox trying to make a little bit extra money. I guess my thought went back to the remember the HDD drive for the 360? It was a separate drive that you
Yes.
could buy for the 360 to be able to watch HDD movies. I guess it kind of took me back to that and hit me in the feels or something. But yeah, you're right. It's really not necessary.
Okay, so I'm a disc guy. And it's funny because I've said to you, Falchion, right before I bought the S, I was like, why do I need the X? Because why do I need the disc? Because I never resell my games.
Right.
I have all of my games, and it's funny, since I've moved here, I have all my games in the box, and I don't know if you could see it because it's dark, but right there next to that rack, there's a rack for all the discs, and it's unpopulated.
Right.
One of those standing CD towers.
Okay.
Right.
And I haven't put any game there, any of the CDs. I haven't put them there. And with the S, and I have the S, with the Series S, I don't miss the disc games, but I don't know why. I like that brick and mortar experience. Going to the GameStop, going to Best Buy, wherever I'm buying my games, and physically having that copy. And to contradict what you said, having the discs wouldn't have saved you during that outage weekend because, like Frank said, the first thing you do when you get home is have to download that game.
Right.
Yeah.
And it still connects the license. If you can't get to the servers.
Right.
And before that, before the Microsoft issue, there was all of that AWS issue. People came home from vacation and their animals had not been fed because it couldn't go to the cloud.
Oh, okay. You're talking about a game. I was like, what?
No. This was, and so these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying I'm not a fan of this DRM, and these issues always highlight that issue, that if you can't check the licenses, you're SOL.
Well, it kind of all floats back to reselling the disc in a way for them to circumvent secondhand selling of the product. They've locked you out of it. You're simply leasing the software at this junction in time. You don't own that software. They've already gone to court and proven that you don't own that software, even though you paid for it. So for posterity's sake, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot where you could have somebody that owns a Nintendo and a regular NES in 20 years, and they pull out the cartridge and it still plays. Yeah. But in 20 years with the products that are now, you won't be able to play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Servers are down. What was a PSP, right? They're down. Can you play PSP games anymore?
Yeah, but that's going down next year.
Yeah, so once it's down, all those games
else
that you bought.
Something for Nintendo as well is going down.
Yeah, like all that stuff that you bought and invested time and money and things like that into is going to be rendered obsolete. Never mind that you spent thousands of dollars for it. And then if you figure out some backhand way to make it that you can still use the product or whatever, they're just going to sue you into oblivion.
Right.
So,
Keisha says Cookie Jam on her phone is her way to relax after a long hard session of Destiny. She says if she loses anything on Xbox, she's okay with it because her Xbox is all boxed up. Like all my discs are still boxed up. I haven't played a disc game in, I don't know, probably 5 years or something. Kind of halfway in the last generation cycle, I went all digital and never turned back for whatever reason. I don't know, because I enjoy owning disc, but I never went back for some reason.
You know, it's interesting because I always thought the same thing about like Steam and whatnot. One thing about Steam is that I own the licenses to the games and blah blah blah. You know, I can still catch them. You know what I mean? I can still say that I own that game, but I do know of instances that they pull games off the shelves through the Steam servers, and if you didn't have it downloaded, you ain't getting it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Actually, and even funnier, the Samsung tablet that I sent you, Falchion, used to have Flappy Bird on it.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Yes. Remember how
off?
When I flashed it, I took it off.
Oh.
Could you imagine? I mean, like, because at a point in time, if you had Flappy Bird on a device, it was worth a significant amount of money, right?
Yeah.
But
that's the same with what is it? That PT demo on the PlayStation 4.
Right.
If I still have that on my original PlayStation 4, and I can never get rid of my PlayStation 4 for that
because
very
of that
reason,
thing,
because it has that game on there.
Like a lot of people are talking about Jet Set Radio Future coming back and stuff like that. I actually have it on Steam. I have the original Jet Set on Steam, and I don't think it's on the Steam market anymore. And it makes me wonder if I could actually download it still, because I don't have it locally stored. I have to check and see.
So Keisha, are you really okay with it? Those are games that you paid for. And I don't like the thought that anybody gets to tell me when I can't play what I paid for. What is it that I'm paying for then? So am I renting? Am I renting games? But you charge me full price for it.
Windows. Microsoft did this. It's all about Microsoft is responsible for this. Windows did this because you can't technically alter Windows because it is their product. You're just leasing it. You don't own that software code.
They say it's like
but you can use it in perpetuity. You can't alter it, but the Navy is still on. They're paying $1 million.
Yeah.
Until they decide to stop paying that, right?
Until Microsoft decides, you know what, we really don't care.
We're done.
You know? Yeah.
Right? You can't use it anymore, right? Right? We're asking.
Yes.
Exactly.
But yes. But I mean, the Navy is paying Microsoft an exorbitant amount of money. I forget the numbers now.
It's stupid.
But
it's stupid.
It's cheaper for them to pay millions of dollars. And I've brought that up, and I wish I could recall what episode that was, so we could say, go back and watch that video. But they're paying all of that money just for Microsoft to keep supporting something that is EOL.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, end of life.
Wow.
Listen, that geek talk, some abbreviations. No, I know exactly what you mean. I know a lot of people like.
I always talk about this, Plank, but I never show it to you. So that's my rack.
Okay.
That's gonna be loud.
All of those devices, and there's more out in the storage area that I've got to populate over there.
It's gonna be loud and hot.
Well, I'm thinking about building a cabinet around it
So you can make
because
it
those fans, when they get to going, I mean, I have a portable AC unit that I'm going to have to bring in here for the number of devices that I'm going to have in here.
You can get one of those Tesla walls.
Yes. That is, and actually, that's funny because that's something we talked about in the garage.
That's actually
Because
a prime example of what we're talking about now. But go ahead, your Tesla wall. You were talking about getting one.
yes, putting it in the garage to get a plug-in vehicle.
But that's exactly what we're talking about now, though, is Tesla. If you buy a Tesla, right, that was
Okay, Keisha.
if you purchased a Tesla on the used market and the person that you purchased it from had supercharging capabilities and you sold it stating that it had supercharging capabilities, Tesla retroactively pulls supercharging capabilities off of it. You have to pay for that feature to Tesla. Rich Rebuilds has already proved it. So you can talk about it, but Rich Rebuilds already proved it. If I buy a secondhand Tesla that says that it has supercharging, Tesla will yank it off of there.
But it's your account because one of my friends did that. He got it from like one of his relatives, let's say his uncle. And then he's able to use that account because the original Teslas or the first few years of Teslas, they're grandfathered into that price.
So but
recharging.
Again, it's the account. It's not the car.
Right. Correct.
So he has to sell that account with the car in order to keep that supercharging capability. Now, if I just purchased the car and it had supercharging on it, and then I put my account on it, they will yank that supercharging off of there. It's a software update that you have to pay for. Wow. And you're paying full retail for it. I think it's $10K. I think it's $10K for that feature.
2 of my friends got into a fight because he sold him the car, telling him how much cheaper what he pays for recharging is compared to today's rate. So he bought the car thinking he was going to not have to pay what everybody's paying now. And when he set up his new account, he's like, whoa, wait, what's this? 45 minutes was $30. And he was like, oh, yeah, your account doesn't have that
feature. You have to pay for that feature. So, I mean, like you talk about software, you don't own the software. You're just renting it. And it goes the same thing for consoles, goes for operating systems, now cars.
And I mean, I don't know what the alternative is.
Yeah. Because
that would actually, to me, be a big point of contention.
It already is. I mean,
I have the games that I have. I've paid for the games that I have, and I get funny. I had a phone call with Verizon today because one of my boxes in a room that I don't use, I went in there to turn it on because I was in the room cleaning up and I wanted to listen to something while I was in the room, and it said this box was unauthorized. And I made it a point when I called Verizon to say, I have the bill in my hand. You've charged me for these months for that box that I don't have access to.
Yeah, you better authorize it.
So I want those credits.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. And so I'm funny about my money that way.
Oh, we all are, I think.
I pay for it. You tell me I'm buying games, and in every contract that I've read, and I haven't read every EULA, but on a number of them, I go through it to make sure of what I own. Like I said, you're charging me that full $65 price, 60 plus the tax. And so I paid full price for that game. What are you telling me? Oh, yeah, we no longer are going to allow you to play that game. Then you need to give me back some of my money.
Right.
Charge me the rental fee.
Mm-hmm.
Charge me a subscription price. But you don't get to charge me full price for a game and then yank it. I understand that what I'm doing on the subscription service, when it's a Game Pass game and I can't play it, but you're not going to get money for that month.
Yeah.
That I can't play it. So that's my rant.
I'm 100% with you. Let's do this.
That's right.
This has been going on for a long time, because if you think back to the PlayStation 3, right, there was that game, that shooter called Mag. Remember?
I remember it. I remember it.
Huge numbers, and they pulled that game when they weren't happy. I think it was around the time that that PlayStation's servers went down for like a whole summer.
That 2 months.
The dark times.
We're mad about a couple of days with Xbox and
that weekend, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed about it.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it turns out we are renting our games. But we're coming to the end, and here's your.
Thank you.
So real quick, Keisha, my wife today, and I'm summing up, was like, "Why are you trying to force Keisha to get a Stream Deck?" I'm not trying to force you to get a Steam Deck, but I just want you to have all the relevant information. Is what it really comes down.
He doesn't want to be the only one.
Yeah, probably. I don't want to be alone in this. I'm feeling very lonely in Steam. But so about being banned, Keisha, I tried it. I tried it, and yeah, I didn't get banned. Here's me playing it on this, playing Destiny 2 on the Steam Deck today.
Hopefully they're not watching this stream.
Now you'll have to excuse angles and everything. I'm trying to look around the camera and
he's trying to make sure ain't nobody in the back window to see if he's gonna get banned.
But yeah, I was able to play Destiny 2, no problem. The way I played it, and there are a lot of different ways you can do it. I've discovered is I personally, and here's I'm about to take some heat right now. I played it on Stadia on the Steam Deck.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you would wail on me for having Stadia. But
I mean, you own the Ouya, so like I can't really say much.
That's true. That's
why
true.
you're paying for Stadia is beyond me. But
no, there's a free version of Stadia.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. But
Hello.
yeah, I was definitely able to play Destiny 2 on the Steam Deck, no problem. It's just you can't play it off of the Steam store.
It's okay, Keisha. You can watch the replay.
Yeah. On the Steam store, you can't play it from there, but there are workarounds. Thank you to my wife. She helped me figure it all out, or walk me through, and she was typing all this, because there was a lot of typing. It's definitely a PC, and you definitely have to go through like PC stuff to be able to do it. And that's what I was asking you the other day, Plink, and I never even finished the conversation. I was trying to figure out how to get Windows on it. And I still haven't done that yet, but now I don't know if I want to do it, because so with Microsoft Edge on Steam, I can go to Stadia. Hi, Lois.
Racist hi, Lois.
I could go to Stadia and and play their games, as well as xCloud and GeForce Now and Luna. So there are many ways to actually get to Destiny on the Steam Deck without playing it in a way that's going to
Directly
get you banned.
through Steam. Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to play it. What is it? So if you have a copy of it on Steam, right, and you decide to play that copy of it on the Steam Deck, you run the risk of getting an auto ban, right? And so, as you can see, it plays really nice. Again, sorry about the angles. I'm trying to maneuver around the camera. I need something. Probably gonna have to talk to Geek about all that. And but it was an experience. It's Destiny 2 on a Steam Deck and no ban. So there you go.
There you have it.
It
Wow,
works.
he's playing from the beginning.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
We all remember that hallway.
So, but I don't know if this changes anything for you. But there you have it. You can definitely do it. No problems. It does. I can actually fast forward. It does progress to that point where I'm in with other players. I think it's around here somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because you
into the
should have
open
that
world there.
walker that comes out and
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that big spider
Yeah.
that you got to shoot the knees.
Yep.
And so, as you can see, other players and everything. So I'm online for sure.
Okay. Well, there you have it.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Yes, Keisha, and it becomes a full Windows experience,
Yeah.
and you're good to go.
Actually, if I go back to the beginning, this isn't Windows, but this is just you can see, right, that
The Microsoft Edge at the top.
the edge and everything. So that's not where I am now. Is not the gaming side of the Steam Deck. This is the PC side of it.
Right.
So yeah, Keisha, Windows 10 or 11, it all works now. If you look at videos, you will probably see a lot of people saying that it's not working, but you'll be looking at videos that are a month or so old, and to us, that's relatively new in all of this. But for as quickly as they're coming out with updates for the Steam Deck, um, everything is old in a week, right? So things change. Or they're coming. I'm downloading or installing updates on like an every other day basis at this point, since I've had it almost a week now. So yeah, but you wanted to know if Destiny runs on it. Destiny Destiny 2 definitely runs on it, and you saw you can get all the Witch Queen stuff and everything. So if you do decide, because I know like you have a lot of kids, or not, that didn't come out right. You have kids with you a lot of the time, is what I'm meant to say. Not that you have a lot of kids. I don't know.
I think you said it backwards. She goes with them to all of their, sporting events and activities. So that's when she would most want to play or have the time to play mobile.
Right. But yeah, and it's great. It's great. Right now I'm using it for that cooldown time that you spoke of. When I don't want to be here at my gaming setup. I want to be sitting in my recliner, just chilling out, playing games. It's great for that. I've had no issues with it. I thought, yeah, teacher says if Yeah, I'll take full blame, but that being said, you can't play it on Steam, right? As long as you play it anywhere else other than Steam, then we're cool. But if you play it on Steam, that's your fault because I'm warning you.
If it's all your fault.
But yeah. So
And Falchion, I wanted to, before we go, I wanted to tell you that as of the 8th of this month, now it was convoluted as I don't know what. I had to censor myself because, love the kids. I played xCloud, and now no longer is xCloud controller only. There's a browser extension that you need to download, and it gives you keyboard and mouse support for every game.
that's cool.
And so it maps the keys. And so but it's convoluted. I still have to get used to that, as opposed to the PC games are much simpler in what their key bindings are.
Mhm.
But the universal key bindings for xCloud is different, way different.
Actually, when I downloaded Destiny, I actually had to bind it for controller because it was only mouse and keyboard out of the box. So I don't know if you play mouse and keyboard or controller, Keisha, but it does start off mouse and keyboard, and I mean, it's not too bad to go in and map the controls, but
What week was it? Last week? Was it episode 50 or was it 49 where we talked about where you showed how to see when you're going to get your Steam Deck?
mm-hmm.
Keisha, it moved me and Shadowfire to the third round. And so my date is like way off. And according to Falchion, which doesn't make me happy, his estimation of when he was supposed to get the Steam Deck was almost spot on.
Yeah, I got an hour earlier than it, almost to the T. It was like an hour and 3 minutes earlier than they said I would get the email. So I don't know how that works. It really doesn't make sense how some third party would know that or have that information. But
Well, the third party doesn't know it. That's why you have to put all that information in, because they're looking at the servers. And I'm not going to get into supply chain and product, because we all know that when how to like look at when your product is supposed to come from supply chain.
gotcha. But yeah. So did you ever retry that geek?
Yes.
You did, and it still got the same thing.
Yes. And so that I don't hurl something at the screen, I've stopped looking. And I'm trying to stop talking about it, but
y'all keep bringing it up. No.
Mr. First World Problems over here.
You might not want to watch the channel then, because I plan on putting up a lot of stuff about it. It's a really cool machine, and for me at least, I definitely can't speak for everyone. It slots in really nicely in my lifestyle, so I'm really happy with it, and as long as it doesn't break, yeah, I'm good.
And for those of you who have not seen it or don't know about it, please watch Falchion's unboxing and his first hour, first day impressions of the Steam Deck. And
Tomorrow
please,
will be first week.
please feel free to get on him to tell him to stop whispering. For God's sake, man, wait till your wife is awake.
Yep. Because you're like, I'm playing this game. I don't want
Like,
Andrea to kill me.
I didn't even realize. I didn't even realize that I was straight up whispering.
Yeah.
I thought I was
Except
just
for-
talking low.
Except for when he yells at his dog. Is the only time.
Yeah.
You know,
on the counter, and I'm like, I'm sitting right here, and you're gonna jump on the counter.
and he got real emphatic too. It's okay to wake up everybody for that.
Right.
But for all the views, and Plank, have you seen the analytics on that video? This guy is racking in views.
I did see that he had, when I first looked at it, it was like 50 views, and then I haven't looked at it since, but I bet since he's one of the few that's actually got something out there, live footage of it.
Views now.
I don't doubt it one bit. Everybody's looking for that device, so you're the big hot thing right now. Blah.
on one video, he has 500. He had 550 views.
Oh, it's over 600 now.
Yeah.
Keisha, I was trying not to wake Andrea up. She was in bed, and I was in our dining room, and so from our dining room, if you look from where I was sitting to the right, about 100 degrees, it's a straight shot upstairs to our bedroom, right? So I was trying to be quiet, and then Riley was making a lot of noise, and he was in the room with her, so she let her out. I know she was mad about that, and then he started barking, and then he climbed on the counter, which shocked me, and so I yelled at him, and like I didn't even think about it, but yeah, somebody commented, shout out to Hands on the Steam Deck for your comment and view. He was like, why were you whispering? I was like scared somebody was in your house. He was like, I was scared there was a burglar in your house.
I mean, to be honest, you kind of want to be these days. People been, catching streamers slacking.
Right. But
they know he's showing off that Steam Deck live right now. They're coming.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's incredible the reception it's gotten. So I'm really happy about that. So
very good, very good.
Look for more, or don't look, geek, because you're gonna see more. Like I said.
Oh, no, I wanna see it. As long as we can get you to not whisper. I'm like, did Falchion have a newborn? Is there something we don't know? Like, why is he whispering?
And the thing is, like, I look back on it, right, and I didn't notice it until people started telling me. And then so I watched both videos, and the whole time I'm getting quieter and quieter and quieter. Then Riley, and I go super high, I get really loud, and then I bottom out, right? And so I'm literally whispering at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow, 638 views on his first hour video.
I think that's the most views I've ever had on any video. Yeah.
No. That other video is ridiculous.
I don't know. Your Cinch Gaming has
2,532 views on that Cinch Gaming video.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's got 1,047 views on how to get purple weapons in the Division. And then his Thrustmaster video has 1,200. I sorted it by views.
Falchion has a question on the pulse of America. Do I need to start staying up later?
Bro, he like this. See, if you gotta know Falchion to know that when he says 1 hour with the game, like he'll sit there with a stopwatch or a clock and go, if I'm gonna tell them this is my 1 hour impression, he's got to make that video at 1 hour and 3 minutes. Where I would have said, all right, I'm gonna do this tomorrow, where I can talk, make noise, turn the volume up, do whatever I needed to do. But no, not this guy. He's
Yeah.
like, I gotta make it right now. It's 1 hour.
I just wanted to get the video out for people.
Well, we're glad that you did.
Yep.
I don't want to discourage him.
I want
And
everybody
Plank, I thought about calling you because I was like, how do I tell this guy, like, man up, speak up, grab your pair and sound off, bro? What are you doing? But I was like, all right.
I knew exactly what he was doing because I do it at home. So trying to be quiet.
Really? You didn't hear me? Oh wow! Like I was like, right. It was loud.
Andrea, I had headphones on, and Kimberly heard him yell at Riley.
I'm sorry. It's my bad. I was like, this dude got on it. Like, usually he's sneaky about it, right? But I was sitting right there. Like, you don't even care.
And to Falchion's credit, Andrea, he really was thinking of you because he was sure whispering. I'm like, what's wrong with his audio? I'm like, oh wait, he's whispering.
I had no idea, even when I listened back, because like until people started mentioning it, and a few people mentioned it, J Law was like, "You did everything wrong that you could possibly do wrong. Don't whisper and don't yell at animals." I was like, he jumped on the counter.
That's awesome.
And it's funny because he tells you, he's like, this dog is gonna get on the right in front of me. And then he yells, and then he goes back to whispering. Sorry about that, everybody. I was like, what?
But it is funny because, like, from the start of the first video, you notice, because I shot the videos back to back, the unboxing and something else. What was it, the first day or something?
First hour, and
First
then
hour.
you did day one.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's just like, man, like, and it just kept getting quieter and quieter. But when I finished the video and I watched over it, I watched them to see that they were, or just looked over them. I didn't watch the whole things. I didn't notice that I was that quiet. I'm a quiet person anyways, but that was even quiet for me.
He's quiet when he plays with me. He'll sound off when he's playing with Hori Akuma.
Mhm.
I don't know about that, man. Like, Hori just knows what I'm talking about because we grew up together.
I'm over here with a severe case of man envy.
Yeah.
Because he'll talk to Hori, but he gets mad at me because he goes, Geek should have knew this. No, Geek doesn't know anything that you don't tell him.
Really? But I've been... How many times do I have to tell you not to take the bomb in the house?
We're back to that, bro. We're back to that.
That's what it always comes down to. Always.
See, that he did tell me. And he did shoot me, too.
A lot.
I was like,
all right.
This dude did shoot me.
So we gotta end this. We run over about almost 20 minutes now. But there you go, Keisha. Just for you, I definitely wanted you to know that, yeah, you can play Destiny 2 on it and not get banned. There's just some hoops you got to jump through. So, Plank, where can we find you?
You know, out and about.
Out and
in
about.
the world.
that name sounds making little kids cry.
Plank GJ, Steam, PJ Danger, Plank on Instagram or on Discord, Plank909 Instagram, Pokemon Go. You got some numbers down there. You know, I'm out there. You find me everywhere out in the
He's out in these streets.
Yeah, out in these streets. Yeah.
And if anybody's playing EVE Online, Plank just got back into that. So
yep. I can't tell you where I'm at right now because I don't want people,
he already
Gank him?
ganking me.
he already got hurt the other day. Did you lose your ship?
I did lose a ship, but right now I figured out something new. Boy, I'm hauling 100 mil in a run, and let me tell you, it's scary. It makes you pucker up a little bit going through warp gates.
Wow. I need to hop back on there for sure.
Even in safe space, it's worth it for them to suicide you in safe space.
Oh, no problem, Keisha. Happy to do it. I hope it helps. To be honest with you, all jokes aside, I really do hope it helps you make a decision on whether or not you want to go ahead and put in another pre-order or no. Geek, where can they find you? You can read it.
Out in these streets.
Out in these streets. No, I'm gonna do a Falchion this week. They can't find me.
Yeah, he's ghost.
So on the Xbox, I'm GKMSTR space NYC. On PlayStation, Twitch, Steam, Discord, I'm GKMSTR. And on Uplay, I'm Geekmaster spelled out NYC, Geekmaster NYC. And we did a test shooting for Wednesday Wise yesterday. So I actually believe we may get it done this week. And if I can get Keisha and Shadowfire and Lady A to help me, I'm going to be trying to do daily Destiny 2 streams, because this guy Falchion, I can never find him to play Ready or Not. Since he doesn't get to shoot me, he doesn't enjoy playing with me. So unless I take the bomb in the house, he has no muse. And Falchion, where can the people find you?
Well, first we got to tell them where they can find Evil, who's like I said, resting. He hasn't been sleeping lately, so he's on Steam at Evil Scotsman. That's a 0 for the O and a 1 for the M. I think that's for everything. On Xbox, Evil Scotsman, same thing. Discord, 33VIL Scotsman, same thing. Twitch is Evil Scotsman. It's all the same. YouTube, same. No, Evil Scotsman is just spelled out on the normal way on YouTube, and his wife's or fiance's, excuse me, is Tweety Pie on Twitch, Tweety Pie 94. And as for me, you can find me on the PlayStation, Twitch, and Steam a lot lately. Falchion757 on the Xbox. I'm Falchion Space GSA. Here on YouTube, it's Borderless Gaming GSA.
Because he didn't say it, make sure you click like, subscribe, and comment below. Thanks for coming out, peeps.
Episode 51 is in the can.
There we go.
All right, thanks, guys. Until next time, this has been Falchion. You know me. I'm Ghost. Two fingers is peace.
You reverse Keisha's position.
What's going on, Lady A?
Hey, Lady A.
All right, Keisha's ordering it. Sweet. But yeah, 2 fingers is peace. We're out. Later.
Later.
Oh, like that. We're gonna find it.